Mike and I have watched a lot of movies today, and the one that we ended on today is 2014's Best Picture winner. I forgot what it's called because the name's enormous. Entitled Birdman
or The Virtue of Ignorance?
Birdman and then in parentheses, The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. I have a history now of hyping up movies, and right before I popped in, I said, "Oh God, Mike, I'm hyping this up too bad. I'm sorry."
No, you didn't.
Okay, good. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, I enjoyed this thoroughly. Yeah.
Raymond Carver gets credit for his work. I hate to be a smarty patootie, but the best parts about watching movies with your friends is that he notices shit you didn't notice the first two times. So in this movie, George Washington Carver.
Raymond Carver? Is that what you're trying to say?
No. Reagan Thompson is his name.
Yeah.
Raymond, the main character is adapting Reagan Thompson is adapting a stage version of a short story book by Raymond Carver called What We Think of When We Think of Love or something.
What we talk about when we talk about love.
Long ass title. And Mike leans to me and he's like, "By the way, this guy was a minimalist. How dare you make a 2-hour play?"
His stories are just super minimal, compressed, enigmatic. They're not melodramatic. I mean, and then you look at in the background, it's like you have a girl giving a monologue, and there's deer dancing in the background.
He's getting very methodical, very minimalist. I also noticed there's a lot of unabashedly bad in-universe art here. So you're supposed to get the idea that this adaptation he's doing is not good.
I would imagine. I don't know why the hell you would want to.
What you can formulate your thoughts. What I'm.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to.
I have stuff to talk about if you want to if you need time.
Oh, okay. I want to say that I feel bad that I didn't watch this movie when it came out because it when I saw it it screamed of crappy Oscar bait.
Yes, and this is actually the only. I hate to be hoity-toity and not my best picture hashtag. But this is the only best picture winner in the last almost a decade where I felt like it was earned.
Yeah,
it didn't. And yes, it is a teeny bit Oscar baity. Anytime that there's a movie about making a movie, or a movie about actors,
or a play about a play.
Yeah, it can get really Oscar baity. But I try to show this to people when I can because it kind of falls under the rug. I really like that there are intentionally bad things in here. Like you pointed out really early before the guy who gets replaced by Edward Norton. They're acting.
Yeah.
And this man, it's like how the most talented thing an impressionist can do is giving an impression of somebody giving an impression of someone else.
Mm-hmm.
This man is trying his best to be a just good actor.
Yeah. And that's... I once was watching an interview where Ian McKellen was asked the question, what's the difference between a great actor and an actor where you watch their performance and there's nothing you can point at and go, you did that wrong, but you know that this guy is never going to get on anything better than a college produced play.
Yeah.
And you could tell that as this movie progresses, the first batch of scenes that you see, everyone's kind of acting like that, and every chunk you get later, they're getting better. And
you mean the actors on stage? They're the in-universe actors are getting better at their material
as the movie goes on. Yeah.
Okay, I have to tackle the elephant in the room because, for the first time in my entire life, this has happened and it hasn't been used as a selling point. Is that this entire film, gigantic air quotes, was filmed in one take, and by what I mean by that is that it was shot and edited to appear as though it's one fluid motion of the camera through different scenes.
So visually, there are no cuts.
Well, aside from the beginning and some stuff at the end.
Yeah. So it's 3 shots.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not actually but
Yeah.
visually it is.
But it was edited to look that way, and I'm sick and tired of the people who, when this came out, had to point out to me that, well, actually, it's not one shot, because you can see it fades to dark, and then it goes into the light again. Fuck you.
Okay.
Who cares?
Who cares?
To what end? That would matter if this movie sucked.
After movies, like, what was some of the first films that did it? Like Hitchcock's Rope, I think, is one.
Rope. There is I believe a Spanish horror film that got adapted into English called Silent House.
And there's Sokharov's Russian Ark. At this point, it's
become attention grabbing.
Yeah, the point about whether you or not should do it shouldn't be for the technical feat. Of look what we've done, but is it visually? Is it striking as
an assist to the material?
Yeah, does it work with the story, with the characters, with the setting?
Let me
not look at what we did.
If I can just state, I have seen both the Spanish and English version of Silent House, the one-shot movie.
Yeah.
And I can agree with myself that there was no reason for it to be one shot.
So yeah, with that, that's a gimmick. Whereas this, it feels, you get this wonderful sense of the space of the theater, and it looks like the film, whoever just wanted to make this movie really loves the theater life.
Oh my god, the set design here is the best I've ever seen.
There's just it's an homage to the backstage and the green room and the city. You have multiple people. You have one important character, the daughter, who says, "I love this city," and then the Edward Norton character says, kind of grotesquely, "I want to tear your eyeballs out of your head and put them in my own sockets so that I could see the city with your eyes." When I was younger.
That's so good because a lot of these characters are bullshitters, and what makes them honest is that they admit that they are bullshitters. Which is what gives Regan Thompson the toughest time, because he's a bullshitter trying to pretend that he's shooting straight.
That's a really good... Okay, yeah. Could you say that again? I just want to make sure.
Because as it came out of my brain, it also came out of my mouth. So here we go. Emma Stone, the daughter, and Edward Norton, they both agree that they are bullshitters. They're broken people. Like, Edward Norton knows he's a crazy drunk, and he has a hard time relating to people. Emma Stone has a drug problem, and she, hates some stuff, but they agree that they're broken people. Mm-hmm. Regan has made billions of dollars making hit movies, and he's kind of washed himself up, but he keeps telling all the press people, "No, I'm not washed up. Yeah. No, I'm a good person. I still got it. Just admit you're kind of past your prime."
And okay, I loved you don't need to know the kind of slight references to real life. But the fact that we're dealing with the Michael Keaton is...
This is so good. How did they cast... This is great casting.
Michael Keaton is an actor who was who starred in one of the first very popular superhero movies. Okay, after the Superman, but the Burton Batman films from 1988, I think, in 1991.
Yes.
And this film references that this character played a trilogy of really successful crappy Birdman movies in the early 90s.
You know what we're talking about.
And also I would have liked it if they did some Beetlejuice reference too, but what are you gonna do?
Hey, one thing at a time. Don't get bloated. It's little tiny details, like when the press is in the room. There's a Japanese man who doesn't speak a lot of English, and as soon as he says Birdman 4, the guy perks up. You could do Birdman 4? Yeah, I'm supposed to write this press essay, but you get to talk about Birdman 4. I love that shit.
Like, oh, I'm have to. Okay, yeah, Raymond Carver adaptation, Birdman 4.
Oh my god, he's a struggling dude. I worry about him, but I worry about he's such a good actor. He makes me worry about Harvey Keitel. Like, I'm worried about the act because he
You're worried
fell
about
in
Harvey
that,
Keitel?
No, who the hell
that
is
Michael
this?
Keaton.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I keep mixing them up because of Harvey Birdman, and then my brain kind of together. Edward Norton. Before I turn the movie on, I'm like, by the way, Edward Norton's kind of an intense person to have on set, and I like that he plays an intense actor in this movie.
God, okay, I have to admit I'm kind of surprised by that because okay, I have seen Norton in some very extreme roles, but I think the majority of films I've seen him in, where he's just kind of a very lax character.
So intense is the wrong. Intense is the wrong word. He's very committed. He takes it very seriously. So he does shit like, I know the entire script. Just feed me any line, and that trips up Riggin, who's not. You're not an actor. You're a celebrity. It trips him up because all he did was write this shit down. He doesn't. I mean, yes, he's an actor, but Edward Norton takes this very seriously, and Edward Norton's character also takes it very, very seriously.
And also, there is a difference between a film actor and a stage actor, because in film, because you just have to do it in front of the camera, and then cut, and then you can do it again and stuff, and you only have to worry about your part. With the actors on stage, they're responsible for everything out there.
For filling it. And I really like those attention to details, because Edward Norton's character says, are you telling me you didn't know the guy? Oh, is that what you're telling me? You telling me you didn't know? Okay, yeah, he stalls for time, and he's just good. He's natural. It's like somebody who's been doing it his entire life.
It was a very good... Like, okay, you have a little bit of time to tell the audience who's watching the movie that this is a very eccentric, committed actor, and
here he is giving notes to the guy who wrote it, who adapted the play. It's so, and he's giving notes like he knows better, and he does, because Birdman's character is kind of a hack.
Okay, and you think that that moments of relationship between Edward Norton's character, is it Steiner or
Mike Shiner?
Mike Shiner.
Yeah. Emma Stone.
No, the
Birdman.
Birdman. Yes, Birdman. Where
Michael Keaton.
He's very. It's hard to tell when he's well, obviously the character says later in the movie that he's always bullshitting, and he's always kind of slightly manipulating. He's always telling the Birdman character, "You did a good job. I wonder, do you think?"
Oh God, they're always filleting him verbally.
He's just using that. He's just kind of saying he's stroking his ego. I like those little details.
I like that note. That's so, God damn it. Everyone did a good job. Emma Stone, I like that she could do dramatic shit. I'm looking at Zach Galifianakis now. Zach Galifianakis and Emma Stone both did a really good job.
Yeah.
Emma Stone doesn't get to play like broken characters very often.
Okay.
So it's just nice to. She was fresh off that movie The Help when this was last year when this movie came out, and it just feels to have her play somebody fucked up again. I'm like, when Alexander Inarritu was casting this, she's like, who would say yes? Zach Galifianakis is my first choice. It's weird. It's like Jonah Hill in Moneyball doing serious roles.
Well, tell me, at this point, had Galifianakis, like, okay, The Hunger Games has already been made.
I don't know,
right?
but he
at least one of them.
He also, Woody Harrelson was in the middle of The Hunger Games when this happened.
But I meant not Hunger Games. What did I say?
The Hangover.
Yeah.
The Hangover came out in 2009.
Confusing my H movies.
Yes, you are. I'm looking up his filmography right now.
So, but had he been in some serious... Zach Galifianakis, had he been in some serious...
I'm looking.
attempts?
Hang on. Okay, so So here's Birdman, but before that, Muppets Most Wanted, Hangovers 1, 2, and 3, the Tim and Eric movie, Due Date with Robert Downey. So no, God, he's in nothing.
Huh, okay.
So what the...
All right, then.
He's not in a ton of stuff, but after this, he was in the Lego Batman movie. I need to put this down.
Okay, we'll skip through that part, edit over it.
Emma Stone is in some other shit, but she's in good shit, and I'm glad that she got cast, and I'm glad that Michael Keaton got cast. And I bet when Michael Keaton was reading this, he's like, "Oh, you want me because of the bird? Because I was Batman." And
yes.
And that art mirrors life. Damn it. Okay. I'm sure he was a good guy about it, because I don't see Michael Keaton having a gripe about his career, you know? He seems like a good guy.
The Burton Batman movies are not crap.
Well, but we don't know anything about Birdman. the movie, the in-universe movie. So we don't know that it's crap. We know that it's a little lowbrow.
But yeah, and I guess this movie came out and it's constantly referencing all these actors who are being put in the superhero roles, and I think in movie they're referencing the Avengers a lot.
Emma Stone's first movie was super bad.
Oh boy. Okay.
It just gets better from there. Don't worry about it.
And when Birdman shoots himself,
Yeah.
and he has that kind of hallucination afterwards, Spider-Man and Iron Man walk on
And the guy,
stage.
the hot dog, and the Statue of Liberty.
And so I like how they're bringing in actors who, okay, one was Batman and the other one was the Hulk for a brief period.
There is a moment where Batman and the Hulk fight. They have a fight.
They have
and
an
it's-
awkward.
It's such a quick.
I'm gonna choke you out. I'm gonna choke you out.
And they're fighting with their dicks metaphorically and then literally out. And then also they're fighting about how good an actor he is because he bullshits this line about how his dad beat him because he was super, super drunk. I was like, oh, it's such a fun. By the way, this script is tight as shit.
Oh god, I want to know. Okay, can you? Who wrote this?
Let me find out.
Pause.
I'm on. No, I got it. Written by the director and then 3 others that I don't recognize.
Oh, that was so good. Okay, you tell me, because this is the first time I've seen this, and I've enjoyed it. I loved the flow and the rhythm of this movie, and I loved how they kept referencing jazz. It has this just wonderful improvisational feel to it. But okay, this is the 3rd time you've seen it. You said
Pretty much, yeah. So we did the chain. I've seen it 3 times. My wife once. You once.
okay. How is it flow on the 3rd watch?
This is not the movie's fault, but every time when it's been a while since I've seen this, I think about the movie. I think about that scene where he's in his underwear walking around to the front of the stage. Because for me, I mean, it doesn't help that it was in a lot of the trailers, but it also is like the uncomfortable through line for me. And so the scenes that occur afterwards, I have trouble recalling that they exist, because later in the thing I was like, oh, that scene. They're still good scenes, but, I forgot that moment is not the finale. There's other stuff. It just has a lot of memorable scenes that, because of the flow of this whole thing and the camera moving everywhere and the very tightly choreographed direction and dialogue, it can become difficult to figure out what scenes go in what order. Mm-hmm. And I was constantly doing that, forgetting about different scenes. The flow is equally as good. People think that a tightly made script is the same as a script that's always fast, and it's very rhythmic. You said there are like the improvisational jazz that's on all of the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's very fast scenes with him and Edward Norton. Sometimes there are very slow scenes with Edward Norton and Emma Stone, and then it'll pick back up because we have to discuss something with Zach Galifianakis' character. Mm-hmm. And as it flows, it's all very, very nice.
Okay, I'm gonna be the douchebag to bring it up.
Okay.
Because I feel like, okay, if someone was watching this, they're gonna be like, why didn't you bring up this point? The superpowers.
No.
Question.
No. Okay. No. Okay. Who in the
Do you
fucking-
care?
First of all,
Because I don't. I'm not saying this is my.
Look,
I'm not saying I don't care, as in why is it in the movie? I don't. It's in the movie. It's in the movie, and I'm fine with it.
I'd
and
take it as
I don't care about any fucking discussion about is he hallucinated or not.
Oh, that goes back. So you don't even care about the discussion about whether he was it real?
Don't care. Yep. So if anyone's listening to this and wondering why didn't you bring it up, I brought it up. I don't care.
Okay. So people wanting really logical explanations of why he can spin the cigarette case or fling a vase across the wall doesn't really matter to me. I wonder why it was in there. It doesn't bother or change the piece in a lot of ways for me at all. I think it's just a manifestation of him wanting to feel like he's got more power than he has right now. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's a manifestation of his idea of what he is, this negative self-talk that he gained while working on the Birdman films, and has just stuck with him.
Yeah, and I guess what I would be worried about with this movie is that part of the movie will grab so much attention.
It will, because
At the expense of the other stuff, and I think that I'm not saying take it out. I'm just saying there's so much more in this movie that's, in my opinion, more fascinating. Don't get lost in the,
like,
was he hallucinating or not? Was this a dream or what is it? But you see, he paid the taxi guy and stuff, so he wasn't flying. He took a cab. She smiled at the end when she looked up.
That is, a lot of people get really fixated on that ending. It's like, I don't mean to compare this movie to The Human Centipede, but let's say that they're
okay. We're gonna bring in The Human Centipede.
People want to talk about when The Human Centipede comes up. There's a wonderful podcast by two people that I really respect, where they talk about The Human Centipede, and they're like, it's not just gross. There's also a Nazi subtext or some other shit. But with this, you can't just focus on the weird ass special effects there. You have to focus on what is really good layered dialogue. With a really core cast of 6. It does a really fucking phenomenal job. I'm looking at this with the sound off, and they're still like...
And I want you to turn it up so I can listen to the scene, because it's really good, but we have a commitment.
Okay. Afterwards. After party. Sam is a sweetheart. She's the only one that doesn't get flaws. I mean, she is like an addict, but I love her, and she's my babe. But anyway, the other characters, they all did a pretty good job making decisions that allowed you to go, okay, you deserve that. Like when fucking Zach Galifianakis, number one, when Zach Galifianakis' phone goes off in the middle of the performance.
Son of a bitch!
Shut the fuck up. You're a professional. How does that slide? Go write the next X-Men. Or when Birdman steps outside for a cigarette mid-show.
Okay, question, because I noticed your reactions in this. Do you have like a phobia of being late for your scene or forgetting your lines on stage?
Okay, even if you... Okay, you were not a theater kid. I was a theater kid. That's where I met my wife. So I know. I have a very vivid memory of playing a bit part in my first show, which was the cab driver in Harvey. And when you're standing behind that closed door waiting for your cue... I remember that is the most panicked I have ever been.
Okay.
And then when I stepped onto the stage, I'm like, okay, we're going. It's a bit part. I'm going to be off the stage in 90 seconds. And I left, and I felt like hot shit. And among anybody who's ever done a stage thing, you always have those moments where you feel like you're going to miss your cue. It's just a thing that happens, and I just want these people who are professionals, who I want to succeed because they're well-written, not to make stupid fucking decisions.
Well, he's not used to the theater.
He's a celebrity, not an actor.
So he doesn't know that you don't smoke outside of
Okay,
the
yeah,
door.
so he can step off set and do that, I guess. Yeah, okay. So yeah, it just shows, it enhances his character.
That was a bad idea.
So bad. And my wife also commented, if we're talking about that scene, how celebrity is just so fucking double-edged. Like, he says, give me, while he's in his underwear walking around to the front, this guy says, here, give me an autograph. And he says, no, I'm busy. He's like, don't be a dick. Oh, fuck.
Fuck you.
Now if I don't give this guy an autograph, he's going to think I'm a dick because I have other things to do? We're under such an obligation to be, like I'm a celebrity, we're under such an obligation to be what people see as us and want us to be. Which is, like, it motivates Edward Norton's character to steal that story about Raymond Carver.
Most of the movie is breaking down the egos, breaking down the ego of Birdman. And you go, wait, look, this is, not everything is about you. You're not that fucking important. And he gets a really good lesson thrown in his face from his daughter. On the other hand, while she's not the focus of the movie, she does get scenes where she's kind of elevated a little bit and her self-esteem is raised, where she gets scenes where, like, look, kid, you're not a fuck up. And it seems like she has gone through a really tough period, especially going through rehab, where one of the main things about rehab is you really have to break yourself down.
You have to know that not everything is about you,
and that you were you were a little piece of shit, and you have no willpower, and don't trust yourself.
So that's really cool. Is that before she's been to rehab before the events of this film, so she has already learned this lesson of break yourself down, and they have to continually do that to Birdman and Edward Norton's character and Zach Galifianakis, and Zach Galifianakis will tell Birdman, "Hey, stop smiling. You know, you're creeping me out." or constantly when they're in the changing room, they say, "You know, get over yourself. We're all just actors. I'm gonna get nude.
Yeah.
My dick's out. Don't worry about it.
And then, but Sam's character, she will occasionally get these scenes where it's like, look, kid, I know you think that you're fucked up and that you're nothing. There's something special about you. That is also an act. Stop. You can't. You're trying to hide yourself with your addictions and yourself that you're a fuck up. You're not. You're okay. You're more than okay.
That did warm my heart a little bit. One thing I do want to tackle.
Okay, not final thoughts.
Okay, well, final thoughts. One last thing. The critic character, the woman who looks like she licked a homeless man's ass.
I'm glad you brought her up.
This feels like Alexander Inarritu was like a shunned playwright or something who got a bad review once, because you're not supposed to like that character.
No.
You're supposed to accept that she exists at best.
I wish that she actually was in the movie more, because even though that I liked her writing, I like the confrontations that other characters have with her.
I'm gonna shit on your play. Fuck it.
That's interaction that the critic has with the Norton character, where he asks, "Will you ever give me a bad review?"
And he says, "Only when I give you a bad performance."
Yeah, and they have a respect for each other.
He's like, I understand it's your job. It's my job not to suck it up.
Like, but so that she has a professionalism about her when it comes to things that she respects. She respects art, but she absolutely despises Hollywood.
Okay, hang to this is really cool. Edward, when it comes to the critic, Edward Norton hates the game. Birdman hates the player. So, like, Edward Norton says, as long as I do a good job, I got shit to worry about. Your job is to call out bullshit. My job is not to put out bullshit. With Harvey Keitel, not his name,
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton. When Michael Keaton is with respect to the critic, it's you're out to ruin me.
Like, if the play is all about him, I put and I'm not criticizing the character, but it's like, it's all about, I put my career on the line, all my money is on this, blah, blah, blah. And for her, and again, I'm not defending her, but for her, it's more of like a principle thing. I hate Hollywood. I despise what you stand for.
Because I believe that in universe, this play, before Edward Norton was cast, the only reason this play got financed in the beginning was because it was attached to this in-universe Birdman actor
who wanted to, late in life, at the end of his career, says, I'm gonna write a horrible adaptation of a masterpiece of short stories because it means something to me, and because I have the name and the money to throw, I'm gonna get my way.
And in the scene we're watching here, Edward Norton's character says, "You don't give a shit about Raymond Carver. You don't care. This is about you."
I have to admit, like, I haven't read all of the corpus of Raymond Carver, but of the scenes you see in this movie, it doesn't convey the feel of any of his short stories whatsoever.
I love the genius bonus that, like, if you knew who Ray Carver is, you understand how inappropriate this is to adapt.
Everything is about what's left unsaid. What's missing, and this is like, let's put it all out there. Let's have dancing deer in the back.
I love intentionally bad writing. But sometimes you can get foggy. No, this is just gentle bad. I'm ready for final thoughts now.
Okay.
It's really good. Please go watch this. Best Picture winners get put on a list in a wall in the back room and then forgotten forever.
That's like actually what my final thoughts are. For those people who only remember this as, it got like some awards, superficial maybe, praise in 2014, but then people didn't talk about it because
ever again.
Yeah, it's good. Watch it.
It's really good. Makes my heart sore. This movie only cost $18 million to make. That is very cheap for a movie.
Holy shit.
And it made 5 times its budget back, so I'm happy.
Good. And I think, does that mean that these actors did not ask for a big paycheck?
I don't know. I'll have to look it up later, but that's so like a movie about the play to be made on less money and just because people like it more. Damn it. Go watch this. It's good. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow for maybe another horror movie because I got to break that trend, bro. Can't have that happen.
Bye-bye, everybody.